Greetings. How you doing, Craig? Thanks for joining us on this lovely day. Day before Anzac Day. It's 24th. I'm saying the date because I keep forgetting to say the dates on my videos. 24th the 4th, 2020. Coming to you live from Nelson, South Island, New Zealand. G'day Laney, how are you? Thanks for joining us on this Friday. I thought I'd introduce you to Friday because most of you probably don't even know where it comes from. So there you go. You know that. This is a problem we have actually, folks. Is that a lot of us don't really know a lot about our own history, or I'm going to try and hold that still so you can maybe read that, or maybe I should read it for you. You know, a lot of people don't even know where the days of the week come from, let alone anything about laws or human rights or any of that sort of special stuff. Pagan, yeah, that's right, Sly, you're exactly right. So Frigg was the goddess of love, marriage, destiny and home, wife of Odin, the All-Father and the foremost among goddesses, responsible for weaving the clouds and fates, and also known as a seer, knowing the future which she doesn't reveal. Clothed in white ropes, secured at the waist by a golden girdle which hangs a bunch of keys, the distinctive sign of the northern housewife, she prefers to live in her own palace called Fensalir, the hall of mists or the sea. She spends her time spinning golden thread or weaving bright coloured clouds. In order to perform this work, she uses a jewelled spinning wheel which shines brightly in the sky, known as Frigga's pinning wheel in the north, and in the south known as Orion's belt or the girdle. G'day Brett, thanks for joining us. Okay, Bradley, nice to see you. So just going through what Friday's all about, because most people don't even know. Where's the other one I wanted to show you? A minute. Get rid of that. One there. You're exactly right there, Sly. It's pagan. All pagan gods. All the days of the week. See, all these people tell me that they're not into religion. It's really bizarre because you're all into religion. Did you get it? Woden, Wednesday, Freya, Friday, goddess of love or Frigga. Tui's Tuesday, god of war. Thor, Thursday, god of thunder. Ystera, goddess of dawn and new life. And Word, god of fate. So there you go, those are the days of the week. The days of the week. It's spelt like this. I'll show you how that's spelt. Oh, I hope that's a whiteboard marker. That's days of the week. That's why you're all in a weekdays. You're on the weekdays, you see. You're on the pagans. You're pagan worshippers. That's what's going on. You guys are all bloody religious lot. I've shown you before how you've got all sorts of other gods in your language, like you've got El, Canaanite, Phoenician, or you've got, I'll just do them, shall we? You've got Isis, Ra, and El. You've got that one. Those ones, Ra, Sol, Solo, Solomon, Solitary. And then you have that one there, Soul. Oh yeah, you've got a soul, haven't you? Oh shivers, I hope that is a whiteboard marker. Might not be. G'day Stuart, how are you? G'day David, thanks for joining us. Should get to the park a bit later on, bud. So yeah, so you're all God worshippers, days of the week. You're all into the days of the week. The days of the week. Days and your days off. You like your days off, don't you? Because it puts you in that lull. In that lull. Lull. It's your lull. And it goes by. So you have a lullaby. See that? Because you remember your vessels. We're back to the board again. Oh, we're taking the vessel off there. Oh no, there she is. There's our vessel. Remember, it's all about you. I've got another one here somewhere. Remember, it's all about you, your vessel, on the high seas. That's what's going on. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, then go back and check out, or you can check out Not the Norm. Actually, it's hard to find. I've tried to search for it myself, Not the Norm, my YouTube channel. You've got the best one to look for is actually Pissed Off Kiwi. If you put that in the YouTube bar, Pissed Off Kiwi, it'll take you to my YouTube channel. So there's a picture of a cop there. It was when I got pulled over by a cop when I was taking my kid to the beach one day. I got a bit pissed off about it. So you might want to check that out. And check out some of the other videos as well. Because I'm trying to build my channel up a wee bit so you guys can help me there. That'll be good. Share it about. It's all knowledge. Knowledge is power. Remember how that works? Knowledge is power. G'day Barry, thanks for joining us. Knowledge is power, folks. That's what it is. Because remember, the wee knoll. Wee knoll's a wee hill. And when you're on the edge of it, you can see a long distance. You know, you're raised up. So you can look out and view the landscape. And escape. Because that's what we're dealing with now. Exactly as I started. You know, people don't even know the days of the week. They don't even know the days of the week and where they come from. I mean, this is how lacking our education has been in our school systems, and still is. It's absolutely terrible. You won't get an English lesson like this in your English class, folks, because most people that their native tongue's English don't even know half this stuff. You know, and this is all spelling. Like I say, it's all spellings. It's all casting spells. It's all cursive writing, isn't it? Letters to let, to letters to challenge. It's all made up of letters, the alpha, the beta, the signs of the waves, of the water, of the energy, and our ships and our vessels on that ocean, the ocean of energy. In fact, I think it was Neil Armstrong that said, or was it Michael Collins? I'm not too sure. One of the astronauts said when they first landed on the moon and they looked back upon Earth, they said that Earth is but a vessel in the sea of space. Now they knew exactly what they were talking about. In the sea of space. Yep. The firmament. Isn't space called the firmament? Isn't that funny? How space is called the firmament. It's really bizarre. You know, there's all sorts of deceit going on. And over here, the liars in the world of the dead, they have the ability to lie. That's why they have liability. Over here, we have responsibility. Actually, we're going to put those in. See, over here, you got the liability, but over here, you got the responsibility. Where should we put that? I'm going to put it up here. That's what you got over here. Over here, you got liability. Over here, you got 100% responsibility. See, over here, you haven't got full liability because you've got insurance, haven't you? So don't give a shit. You know, you crash in someone's car, you get insurance. Sure, you have to pay a bit of a higher premium, but you're insured over here. You know, you haven't got full responsibility. You need to get back over here and take full responsibility because you're over here with your insurances because you don't trust your ability to be able to respond to those sorts of things. You see how that works? So we need to, over here you've got 100% responsibility. Over there you've got the ability to lie, so you've got insurance. You're insured. And I've gone through how you become a surety. Because you always sign your surname, don't you? Your surname is your last name, which is your dead name. Your last name is always your dead name, because that's the last name you have is the one that's written on your tombstone. Isn't it? So you become a surety. Oh, it's a board moving. You've become a surety for things, folks. You've got insurance. You're in. You're in because you haven't got the responsibility, the full responsibility yourself. And this is why possession is only 9/10 of the law. Why is it only 9/10 of the law? I've bought this pen, I've paid for it, it's mine, and yet it's only 9/10 of the law. I've got law up there. You see, over here it's only 9/10, folks. Actually, that pen seems to be dying on me. I'm gonna go black. Once you go black, never go back, and then it goes somewhere. What am I doing? 9/10. 9/10, folks. Why have you only got 9/10? Why is possession only 9/10 of the law? Because you don't have title. You don't have any title over here, folks. You don't own the title. If you don't own the title, then you got none of these. You got none of those, folks. You've sold them. You're at sea. You're drowning. Drowning, because it's unfathomable over in that world. That world's unfathomable. You will drown over there. Because the first thing you will do when you get over there is get someone to represent you. Now, how can anybody represent you? You want to present yourself. In the present. Because that's the present. You want to present yourself in the present. Because only you can do that. There's three of them, actually. I've forgotten one. Oh, in the present. In the present moment, you can present your presence. And that's a gift. We'll get back to gift too. See how we've got gift up there? I've still got gift up there. And give. Remember give, gnosis, intent, visualize, and emotion. You put those together, man, we're powerful. We're full of power. And we are. But we're being depowered by this. This is casting a divisional net over us and in between us. It's designed to divide. Because that figures. It figures. It's a numbers game. So no one can represent you. How can anybody possibly represent you? They represent you because you're over in this world. Hey, that's how you're getting represented. And they're called attorneys because they turn things around, or a barrister because they're shipwrecked on the bar because they get you in the dock. You're in deep water because you've been caught. Because you've been caught. You see how that works? You need to be vigilant and start asking why. Oh, a bit messy there, isn't it? You need to start being vigilant, folks, and start asking why. And a lot of it's all because of this. It's all because of this spelling. It's got you all bound and cast. They cast spells. Funny how they call groups of people in India castes, don't they? It's division. Again, it's division. It's division. Divide and conquer. Divide and rule. The measure and the compass. Remember, to assure me? To assure me is to measure. And how we do that? The cost, the value and the worth. That's how that works. We know that. So to assure me, you're going to have to provide uncontestable proof of your claims. Okay? So we're all on a ship. We're on our vessels out at sea, but we're open for salvage, folks, because we're lost at sea. We're lost at sea and we're bound by this. This is bound. We're booked. They charge you and you think it's fine, but it doesn't. It costs you. See how they charge you? And you think it's fine. And off you go to court and step up to the dock with your ship and your vessel. And you're open for salvage. And it's your hearing, isn't it? It's your hearing. It's your hearing. But over here, you don't have a hearing, you're silent. They can't hear you over here because you need that guy there. And that guy there, he can never ever represent you. Never. It's impossible. It's an oxymoron word, to represent. I can affirm what someone else is saying. Oh yeah, I agree. I agree what someone else is saying, but they can't represent you. Over here you have a hearing. Over there you're silent. Okay, but they call that a hearing when you've been caught, don't they? They call that a hearing. But unfortunately, they can't hear you because it's all colour of law. And they determine that however they feel on the day. And if they've had a good morning with their wife, then the judge will be happy. If he's not having a good day, oh, mate. And this is how colour of law. So you can go to 10 different judges and possibly get 10 different rulings, depending on how the judge feels on the day. How's that justice, folks? How's that working out for you? How's that working out for you guys, eh? It's not too good, is it? That's because we're all lost at sea. We're all tied up in this commercial admiralty law. And it's all legal. It's all your legislation, your acts and your statutes, assumed authority, the rules to regulate you, your T's and C's, all your tracking and your control. Oh no, it's terms and conditions, Norm. No, it's not, folks. T's and C's are tracking and control. But they disguise it. They say, oh, it's just the terms and conditions. Well, people, you need to start getting back on the land and start drawing a few lines in it. You need to start drawing a few lines here, folks, because they're crossing the boundaries and trying to bring all this, their dead legal stuff, over onto the land. Okay? And we're made of the land. We're made of the earth. We're told that, whether you believe this or not. You know, almost 100% of your religions, because you're religious, you believe in your pagan days, don't you? Where were we with our pagan days? Let's go back to our pagan days. Isn't that one? Hey, you'll believe in your pagan gods, so you're all religious. Hey, you're all religious, aren't you? You know, religion means to rebind. Legion is to bind. To re is to do again. Like represent. You can't represent anything. They call you your rep. Your rep. I need repairing, all right. See, this is what's happening. And I say these laws are pretty easy. I'm not a religious man, but man, these laws, I love these laws. These are pretty simple. There's 10 of those commandments, but there's only 3 really. Don't kill, don't steal, and don't deceive. I mean, it's really simple. Really, really simple stuff. You know? They're really, really simple stuff, folks. And we've got these things here. They're inalienable, meaning they can't be taken away. But by goodness, they can be given away. Okay? When the con's been sent and you don't test it, then you're jumping over here. And you're in trouble over here, folks, because it's unfathomable. It's all about law of the sea, commercial admiralty banking law, money, the one eye. You know, people say, oh, you know, human nature, human nature. Well, human nature, mate, is it good or is it evil? Human nature is neither inherently good nor inherently evil. Instead, we should consider the operating conditions, meaning, or the environment, in which human beings exist, which influences behaviour to a great extent, thus creating the current human condition. Now, our governments have got us in a state of fear, mate. And when we're in a state of fear, we're easily controlled. Very easily controlled. And this is what's happening. You know, we've got... Yeah, I won't get into that yet, but there's things happening, people. There's things going on, and it's all by your consent. Because you've all filled out your birth certificates, you've all filled in your applications for this, that and the other. That binds you to these terms and conditions. That is what binds you. That's how you're bound. That's how you lose title. That's how you lose that 1/10, that little 1/10 of your possession. And that's all it takes. That's all it takes, that little one, that title, to get you over here. Okay? And this is what's going on. And this is why our ships are open for salvage. And people in international countries, they know this. That's why New Zealand passports have no authority overseas. It's one of the reasons. We have no constitution, folks. We have no written constitution. It's bound again. It's bound up in all the lies, the ability, the double-speak, the legalese. Remember the legalese, like Chinese, Japanese, or chimpanzees? It looks like English, it sounds like English, but by goodness me, folks, it is not English, okay? And they're giving it to us, and we're accepting it on this side that, oh yeah, they wouldn't lie to us, they wouldn't tell us the truth, and we're consenting using language we don't understand, okay? It's very clever language, it's doublespeak. It's George Orwell's doublespeak, folks, and they've got it down to perfection. There's no two ways about it. You know, I've showed you over the last few videos I've been doing how easily it is to spell you all and to get you into a state of... I'm sure I had that word there. Ah, there. It's mind control and hypnotism. You need to wake up, folks. Get off your butts. Get out in the streets, especially tomorrow. Okay? Tomorrow is the day. Folks, you've got to start getting off your butts and getting out there. If they're going to stop us from mourning our dead, then we might as well be dead, folks. In my book, anyway. And I can only speak for myself, I guess. Hey, I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for anybody else. Because when I speak, it's sound at its peak, isn't it? Hey, it's sound at its peak when you speak. And the government's told us we're allowed. Oh, we're allowed. Oh, that means you can speak up. See how that works? She said we're allowed. So best you go out there and get loud, folks. Because a lot of these things here, they are disappearing very, very quickly. Because you're all over here drowning and that crap there, and we need to get back to simplicity. And to do that, you're going to have to start captaining your own vessels and be the master. Be the mast, the centrepiece of the vessel. That's what that is, folks. That's what that is. Because they're disappearing. Tied up in legislation, acts and statutes. They're acting. They're telling you exactly what they're doing. They've told you they're acting. They're acts. That's what they call them. Statutes don't move. It's like paper. Paper's stationary. Paper doesn't move until you put your thought into ink. Hey. When you put your thought into ink, then that paper's no longer called stationery because it has contract on it. These are contracts, folks. This is contractual language. And you ask any female about contractions and she'll tell you they're painful. And this is getting us into a lot of pain. You know, it's getting into a lot of pain. Because it's a message, isn't it? It's a mess of the age. Folks, they're telling you what it is. It's a messy age. And it's messy because we're getting spellbound and hypnotised and brainwashed. Turn your friggin' TVs off for a start. A messy age, and they call it an era. Oh, we're in that era. It's an error because not only do we not know where we are, who we are and what we are, we don't even know when we are. I mean, there's that many calendars out there. And there's that many changes been made to them. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I should have a look at some of your comments. Sorry, there's a few people there. We got Adam, how you doing, mate? Another English lesson for you. Try teaching some of this stuff to your students, buddy. See how you get on. Carl, Stephen. Hi, Carl Stevens, how you doing? David Taylor Gore, hey, nice to see you again, mate. Stephen, good to see you on board. Barry, Stuart. Sly, David, Bradley, Brett, how you doing, buddy? Okay. And you're all watching. You're watching, because it's time, isn't it? You've got time because you got to watch. You got to watch, and it ties me. Ties you to this. Ties you. Ties you. And your little vessels, beautiful little vessels, unfortunately are all drowning over here. It's really no good. We've got to pick you up out of that stuff. And it's done through that, you know. Because, you know, we all think, oh, yeah, I'm a good member of society. But hey, look, folks, there's certainly no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. And unfortunately, not only is this dead, but dying and sickening, and this is what's happening. This is what's happening. All this legislation, because it cuts, it slates things, folks. And you got to translate all that stuff. Over here, it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple stuff. It's pretty simple stuff, folks. Unfortunately, it's dissolving. And again, you know, this consent thing, it's because, they're inalienable, meaning they're inside you. But you can give them away by your consent, and that's what's happening. We're going from here over to here through all the contracts that we're going into. Even the word application in legal sense means to beg, okay? So when you apply, you're called the beggar. You're actually begging for a right you already have. I lost a pen somewhere. You're actually begging for a right you already have. You're already born with inalienable rights. Okay? But you keep giving them away. And you keep ending up in the grave. With all that stuff. And discord. And your discord. Because you're not in accord. Remember? You're not in accordance. You're not in accordance with things. And then you're out of tune. You're not in attune. And you're out of tone. You're not in atone. We all want atonement, don't we? Hey. All this stuff gives us the ability to respond again. Over there with your insurance and the liability, the ability to lie, that's where you're giving up that title. That's where your title's gone. And it's all done by consent, because you haven't tested what's going on. You haven't given your testimony. Actually, I'll show you this one. It's an adult show. It's an adult show, isn't it? Hey, I'll let you read that while I just find there's something else here. Oh, where's that one going? It's pretty simple stuff, folks, what's going on. We're being bamboozled by bullshit. And it's still going on. You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, man, how many times you guys been fooled? You know, how many times you got to be lied to before you say, wait a minute, and start questioning and start testing some of those cons. But it's like this, isn't it? Hey, it's politics. Isn't that just politics? Oh, it's government norms. It's just government. Sure it is, folks. They're telling you exactly why it's government. It's derived from the Latin verb governero or governare, meaning to control, and the Latin noun mens or mentis, meaning mind. So government is mind control, folks. That's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. They tell you in front of your face what they're doing. They've got to. They've got to tell you what they're doing, because it confers your consent. And when you fill out your applications and you go begging for government and someone to represent you, then you're going to get exactly what you deserve, folks. Every time. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple stuff, mate. It's a corporation. It's a corpus, it's a body. Again, it's right in front of the words. It's the dead speaking, a corpse oration, again, Latin, in front of your face. They've got to tell you what they're doing, okay? Because once they tell you what they're doing and you don't go testing anything, then you're complying. That's what you're doing. We need to learn a few more of those. Because like I say, if you ignore them, they're gone. And that's what's happening. Because the government's stripping them left, right and centre at the moment. She's just passed one of the most draconian abortion laws of any country out there. The Crown. Governor General, your judiciary, your parliament and your enforcement, legislature. You know, folks. And there, see, New Zealand is registered as a corporation under Her Majesty the Queen and Right of New Zealand. And that's on the SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, Her Majesty the Queen and Right of New Zealand. Okay? Registered. Treasury, Wellington. Do you get it? Do you see, my little friends, what they have done and what they're doing? Man, and they're filling that up at the moment too, don't you worry. They're filling that right up. Unfortunately, we're dealing with this. And all you guys, beautiful little starlights on the ocean out there, need to help us and help others to start navigating what's going on, to start comprehending how deep a shit we're in. It's pretty simple stuff, folks. You know, it means standing up. It means standing. You know, instead of sitting and being keyboard warriors, that time's getting close to being over. I mean, there's another large majority of people are waking up out there. Huge majority. Starting to question and starting to become as kings. The quest that they are on also has changed. Everything's changed, folks. The only constant in the universe is change. Those who survive are the ones who can adapt. And this stuff here, over the many years, has helped me to adapt and see what's going on. And hopefully it's in you know, within your purview now as well. Because we, you know, we're going to have to start drawing our lines in the sand. Start to realise that there's lots of real lies out there and have real eyes and wake up about it. It's pretty simple stuff. Numbers game. It's always a numbers game. Always a numbers game, Sly. We've got to get out there in numbers. Even if we stand out there in a 3-metre bubble apart from each other, 50 of us in a field, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? It's just a matter of a group of yous getting some balls and getting out there and doing it. It's pretty simple, folks. We've got to get away from all this other crap and start drawing our lines in the sand. It's no good being keyboard warriors, mate. They want you all at home. They want you all at home, folks. In a society whose citizens refuse to see and investigate the facts, who refuse to believe that their government and their media will routinely lie to them and fabricate a reality contrary to verifiable facts, is a society that chooses and deserves the police state dictatorship it's going to get. Okay, there's only one road that goes down, folks, when you start giving up those things and you start believing all the lies and all the contracts and all the different ways that they sell you out. They sell you out and they lie to you. They sell you out. Hey. And that's how it is. You should be. You should be pretty pissed off. See, there's trust that was set up, man. There's trust that was set up at your birth. At your birth, certain trust was set up. I told you the other day, remember I went through how the dock, you know, breaks the waters, the cargo, the carriage of goods. The carriage of goods has arrived at down the canal at the berth. There's a dock, you know, in the ward. There's a certificate of manifestation because goods have arrived. It's Admiralty jurisdictional banking law. They create a certificate of manifestation, which gets you straight into there. They register you. The legal definition of the word register is a transfer of ownership. Okay, it's a transfer of ownership. They own your ship because you become the informant. You become the informant and sign and register the name to the Crown. And then the Crown has their thing called... Then they go into copyright ownership, don't they? Because you're an on that ship, folks. Do you see how that works? It's copyright ownership. They've got to tell you in front of your face, because it confers consent. If you don't test it, then boom. That's how it works. It's the Holy See, the Admiralty laws, Admiralty jurisdiction, folks. A certificate, don't they certify you? They certify you. What gets certified? Mental patients, don't they? Wards of the state, don't they? Infants, imbeciles, and idiots. That's you, folks. That's you. And they're telling you in front of their faces. You know, that's what's going on. They're telling you exactly what's going on. They've got to tell you. Because it's the old saying, folks, you know the one we go back to? Buyer beware. Caveat emptor. Here we go. Caveat emptor. Remember? Buyer beware. If you buy bullshit, then you're going to get stung. If you buy lemons thinking they're apples, you're going to get a sour taste in your mouth. Let those that be deceived. Okay? We're being very easily deceived. They're getting us out of the world of the living, over into the world of the dead, by our consent, and we're drowning. We're drowning miserably. None of us know how to swim over there. You've got to go to law school for 8 years, or whatever it is. Professional schools for so long, and then you get out and you're only practicing. Oh, I don't know, folks. There's your last name. You know, full capitals. Full capital letters. Your last name. You never write your name in that, but you always get stuff from the government in this language. It's indecipherable. This is not a language. In fact, it's unreadable. There's no such language as this other than dog Latin. And that's done by that process there. Go and look up some of those terms. Capitis diminutio maxima. To maximum capitis, cut off. Capital letters, cut off. They're telling you. These are the capitals, aren't they? The Capitoline. You know, New Zealand police, company. They're companies, folks. Your councils will be companies. They're registered companies. That's what's going on. That's why they don't recognise your human rights, because they are there, they are policy enforcement officers. What policy are they enforcing? Legislation. Okay? They're bound by legislation. We've got to get them back over here as peace officers, not as revenue collectors. Because over here, any interaction you have with a blue uniform usually doesn't work out too well. Does it, folks? And it's blue because it's the blue blood. And they have a blue-red light because it's blue-red. That throws the brain into a state of anxiety. They do everything on purpose, folks. There's purpose to everything. Even the sirens. They call them sirens, don't they? In the old days, when the captain was out on his ship sailing the high seas, and the sirens from the shore started calling out to the sailors on board, ooh, the pretty sirens. They would distract the captain from their ships, and they would hit objects, and they would get objected. There was objection. Do you see how that works? Someone said no. Someone drew a line in the sand. If the captain said no and he was strong, he would carry on and be safe. But if he pulled over, he was in big trouble. It's red blood, blue blood. Red blood, blue blood. Red, blue. It throws the brain instantly into a state of anxiety. They know this. They know all about our psychology, folks. They know how we work. Okay? And, you know, and you need to test it. Do you know where that come from in the old days? And when you were caught? When you were caught and you had to go and give your testimony, you had to put your balls on the table. You had to put your balls on the table, and that was your testimony. And if the crowd, the court of public opinion, decided you were lying, the guy on the other side of the table with a hammer would give you a whack in the nuts. That's where your testimony come from. And by God, you told the truth. I don't know what they did with women, but that's where your testimony comes from. Testimony, testicon. Do you see how that works? Do you see, or do you... Oh, I didn't write it there. I had it there, I'm sure. Or do you see... Oh yeah, that pen's died. You see what's going on? And they summons you. When you're going to court, what do? They summons you. Why do they summons you, folks? Because they summons the dead. They summons the dead. They bring the dead back to life by a summons. A summons is an invitation for you to put your hand up for the dead corporate name that they are trying to contract you with. That's how it works, folks. That's how you're being deceived and going and consenting and getting yourselves in all that deep water through your own ignorance. It's through your own ignorance. You know, go and look up that term. Go and look up corpus delicti. Go and look that up. It's the body of the crime. Unless there is an injured party, there is no crime. Oh, that's common law, Norm. Yes, it is, and that's what we need to get back to. Okay? We need to do a little bit of research. Now, here's one of your rights you need to start exercising. It's your privilege against self-incrimination, which is the common law right of a person not to answer questions or produce material that may tend to incriminate the person of a criminal offence or expose the person to a civil penalty. Okay, goes on. It says, a law enforcement officer is entitled to ask questions relating to the citizen's identity and otherwise, but the citizen is entitled to refuse to give the information. You're entitled to refuse to give the information. That's your entitlement. Don't the beneficiaries get entitlements? Remember the beneficiaries of the trust? Where you've got the administrator, the trustee, and the beneficiary. Remember how that worked? How I told you about the trust. There's a trust. They've got you into a trust. And they trust that you don't know what you're doing. And they'd be pretty right with most people out there, unfortunately. See, common law rights. These are your common law rights. Now, I've kind of touched upon this, but the common law right of a person not to answer questions or produce material that may tend to incriminate the person. How would you, giving your name, incriminate you, folks? You might be asking. So how does that incriminate me, Norm, if I give him my name? How does that happen? Because, again, like I said, your name was signed over at birth with your birth certificate and the registration of your name into the Crown. When your birth got registered, it created a fictional entity called a straw man. Which I've got now. It's called your straw man. That's a good one too, if you can get hold of that. Straw man, Thomas Anderson. Tells us about. I mean, see, I've been studying stuff for years, folks. Magna Carta. Go and look at that. Go and find out about your Magna Carta. Freedom of Information Acts, how that works. Treasury Department. Hive mind. Signatures, the signatory, how he's become signatories to things. Societies and statutes. I mean, this is stuff you all need to... You don't have to know yourself. I mean, this is the legal side. This is how you can get out of it with the paperwork and all that sort of stuff. That's pretty much how you can get out of it. You want to take it the simple way? Go and check that one out. The 1835 Declaration of the Independence of New Zealand. Actually, New Tarini, actually, but anyway. Go and have a look at some of that stuff. Go and have a look at, and go and try and find where your government claims to have authority, folks. Well, they are the authority. They're the authors of the writs. And it's actually shit. They're the authors of this shite, folks. That's it. They're corporations. Okay? Corporations. Your government's a corporation. Your police are a corporation. Your council's a corporation. And you're a corporate entity. They're soul traders. You know, they're soul traders. That's what they call them, soul traders, folks. Whose soul do you think they're trading? Whose soul do you think they are trading? Hey, he's getting pissed off yet. I knew I'd piss someone off sooner or later. I keep forgetting the dates, so I must remember to record the dates. 24th, 4th today. So yeah. So again, it's the language, it's the words, it's the spellings that have been cast upon you, that have specifically been very cleverly designed to deceive you. And it's in your face. It's clearly in your face. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power, man, because it's enlightenment. It lifts you, it raises you up. Yeah. Then you're in a chord, and current and energy runs through chords. And then if you're unlucky, you might get an arc. What's that, an arch? Is it an arc or an arch? Ark of the Covenant. Oh, there's information there, because light is energy, which is power. Light is energy, which is power, which is in accord and atonement, responsibility. Then we can see in the light, and we're current. And then when we're in battle, they go charge. Oh, it's a battalion. Oh, no, it's a battery. It's a charge of a battery, isn't it? Oh, you get charged with battery, don't you? Don't you get charged with battery and you think it's fine? You see what's going on there? And this is all current, of course. Or is that current? Or is it currency? Oh, it's the currency, which is mercy. Mercy, money. The money, the water, the liquidity, the currents. And when you put water in the current, you'll get an arc, won't you? And that hurts. And it hurts. Because it's a wave and frequency. You see that? It's all about the words, folks. And they're telling you exactly what's going on right in front of your faces. And let those that be deceived, be deceived. Let those that be deceived, be deceived. See that one? You have the right to remain silent. Use it. Unless you're asking questions to anyone in authority, you shut your mouth. That's how it works. Because they'll give you your rights. They'll say, oh yeah. They'll say, look, what's the second one here? Is it the second one? Anything you say can and will be used against you. Against you, folks, in a court of law. See, they're telling you again. It's not for you. It's not to help you. Anything you say can and it will be used against you. They're not your friends, folks. As soon as you open your mouth, you are sinking. You are sinking. Yep. Anyway, well, I might have a look to see who's there. G'day, Jane, how are you? Jason? Ah, hello, Aspinall Sewer. Nice you could join us. Adam's still there. Oh, yeah, cool. You're still there. Sweet as. So yeah, so this is what's happening. We're getting into Discord and we're getting in trouble in deep water because we don't know what's going on. And we need to start standing back on the land, folks. Really, seriously. Raising our voices to the peak. Put our sound to the peak because we're allowed. We've been told we're a loud lot. We're all revolting, aren't we? Don't they call us revolting? Oh, what have we got up there? Revolting. I had it here somewhere. They call us revolting, folks. They call us revolting because we're ignorant and don't know what's going on. Because we've been dumbed down and believed all this bullshit, and it's gotten us in a heap of trouble. And that's why we've got no titles. Oops, sorry, you can't see that. We've got no titles. You know, possession's 9/10 of the law because you don't own your title. So when the government's boots on your throat, it doesn't matter whether it's a left boot or right boot, folks. And this government, through all their legislation, their rules, regulations and acts and statutes, are just rolling straight over you. You're all little vessels out there for salvage. You're up for salvage, folks. I mean, even if you go look in the word licentious or license that they get you to apply for, you see how it works? You know, they're getting you to apply to be unlawful, lascivious, lawless, immoral. That's what licensing and licentious means. They've got us bamboozled with bullshit, people, and we're all believing it. And you know, if I come round to you, if I say to you in a certain language, oh yeah, I'm coming round to your house and I'm gonna eat all the food in your fridge and I'm gonna load your TV and your games studio into my car, into your car, and I'm driving away, and you don't know or understand the language I'm using, or I use nice flowery language for you, then, you know, more the fool you. Buyer beware. It's pretty simple stuff, folks. Unfortunately, you know, we're getting to a stage where words and our voices and behind our keyboards is not going to do it. It's just not going to do it. Because they're not going to stop. Government is going to keep coming. There's no doubt about it. Government is not going to stop coming. Okay? That's what they do. That's what they do, folks. Attacks, attacks, attacks. That's what they do. Because you've allowed your little vessels to be salvaged. And your cups aren't half empty anymore. They're becoming dry. Your well, it's not well. Your well is getting done, folks. You know, they reinforce you, little vessels. The little vessels on the sea. We're 70% water, aren't we? Or more, some people say. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. We need to start waking up. We need to start getting bums off seats and people out in parks at a certain time, local parks, local schools. I don't know, 1 o'clock on a Sunday or whatever it is you do. You got to start doing something, folks, because there's other people out there who don't have the type of technology that we have access to here now. You know, there's old people in distress. We're finding out more and more people have been stuck in their homes for the duration of this time, running out of food, no way to contact anybody. It's criminal. It's criminal. It's got to stop. It's just got to stop. You people are going to have to start doing something. Seriously. You know, because it's like this, folks. It's like this. Let me show you what it is like. Got it in this one, have I? You know, because this is the state of the world at the moment. This is the state of the world at the moment. These people running the country, mate, they're psychos, folks. Even Freud states quite clearly that the people that gravitate towards positions of power and authority are psychos. Narcissistic, psychopathic, dangerous people. Dangerous people. But they've got us all over here. And we need to get back to that. Because that's really basic stuff. This is so basic stuff, man. You know? And that's been encompassed in all sorts of treaties, documents and constitutions throughout history. That stands. This stuff here, mate, it's simple as that. And you're being bamboozled by it. Ask to see the contract, folks. Where's the contract? Where's the contract that you signed that allows the government to introduce all these measures? Where's the contract that you signed to allow the government to take away all your freedoms? Where's the contract? Ask for the contract with your wet ink signature on it, folks. They've got no jurisdiction unless you keep consenting and giving it away. You keep consenting and giving it away. And they can't hear you over here because you've been caught. This is the court. Okay, it's court. And the real reason that we can't have the 10 Commandments in a courthouse as you cannot post, "Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery, and thou shalt not lie," in a building full of lawyers, judges, and politicians. It creates a hostile work environment. That's how that works. There's George Carlin. You know, we're being bamboozled by the lawful and the legal. And we've got to get out of it. Over here is legal, folks. It's lawful. That's your right. Those are your rights. Those are your rights. And if you don't stand up and start exercising your rights very soon, you're not going to be able to do any of it. Because that's what's coming. Like I say, government will not stop coming. And we do that by operating in the universal laws. Do no harm to another. Cause no harm to his property. And being out there in the parks, in your bubbles, in mass, is allowed, folks. It's allowed. It's pretty simple stuff. It's pretty simple stuff. You know, and tomorrow's a day where we celebrate those who stood and paid the ultimate price for the freedoms that we enjoy today. And if we don't stand up, folks, then you'll be forgotten. You know, lest we forget, wow, mate, I'm telling you, unless you start standing up for your friggin' fathers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers, your whakapapa, your history, your story, what's it worth? You know, what's it worth to you, folks? What's it worth? What's the value of it? What did it cost them? Get off that boat, mate. Hey. And these lying psychopaths are trying to assure me, mate, I can see through their spells and their legalese and their deception and their discord and their conning and lying and cheating. All lawfully though, folks, all legally. It's all legal though. They're allowed to do it because you've all given your consent. Because you keep voting for them for a start. You keep voting for the leader that's been raping you, then you're going to get more rape, folks. It's pretty simple stuff. It's pretty simple stuff, mate. It's not difficult to comprehend. And tomorrow, you know, as I say, they gave the ultimate. They gave the ultimate. They gave the ultimate, folks. Didn't they? And we're going to let some little puppet sitting in a beehive, some little muppet sitting in a beehive to take all that away. It doesn't matter what muppet sits in that beehive, folks. It doesn't matter what muppet sits there. Because they're going to do what they always do. Opposition, there is no opposition party. It's controlled opposition, folks. It's controlled opposition. Every time. There is no opposition. Both sides. Both sides of the game are owned. They own both sides of the game, folks. You know, doesn't matter who you vote for there. They're still going to follow that. And you're going to be drowning and all that. Let's raise the dead. Raise you up. That's what raising the dead is about. Instead of you all being summoned from the dead, how about you pick yourselves up? Because I don't know what's worth fighting for in your lives. I don't know what you value. I don't know. I can't. You know, I can't make those decisions for anybody else. This is how it works. Why did you guys steal my bike? Oh, we didn't steal your bike, mate. We just formed a democracy. And seeing as we own the majority, we declare it law. And we own your bike. And that's how simple it is, mate. That's how simple it is. Ocracy. Ocracy's rule. Demo. Demolition. Demolition. It's demolition. And this guy said it, old Winston Churchill, he was onto it, mate, when he said the best argument against democracy is a 5-minute conversation with the average voter. And do you think your government's ever going to give you time out? They don't even give you time out to go to your polling booth. They make you get in your car with your kids and everything, have to go down to the polling booth to make you vote. And it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter, man. They're pissing in your face and telling you it's raining, and they're laughing all the way to the bank, folks. Karl Marx said the oppressed are allowed once every few years to decide which particular representatives of the oppressing class are to represent and repress them. I mean, how many people throughout history do we have to listen to before we take heed? Before we take heed of what we've been told. They have nothing to do with people, folks. They're sponsored. They've sold their souls. They've sold their souls, folks. This is a big one eye. They've sold their souls to the big one eye. The big mon eye. The big AI, folks. The old pyramid with the eye. You know all about it. You know all about those ones. Hey, dollar, the dolan. Dolan's a Latin word, means pain. Dollar means pain, folks. They're telling you. They've got to tell you. They've got to tell you what's going on because it gets you consenting voluntarily. And while you're consenting voluntarily, things aren't going to change, folks. Things are going to stay exactly the same. Exactly the same. And that's just how it goes. That's how it goes, folks. We're being lied to on so many levels. It's shocking for many. It is shocking for many. In fact, so much so that we're in a country and a world that is being run by unbelievably sick people, folks. The chasm between what we're told is going on and what's really going on is absolutely enormous. It's unbelievable. But they're telling you, they're telling you. Again, you've got to be told. You've got to be told, folks. They've got to tell you what they're doing to you. They've got to tell you what they're doing to you. It confers your consent. They send the con and you don't test it, and there is no contest, is there? There's no contest to this. And that's why they can just walk all over you. That's why you've got no rights. Because anything you own is only 9/10 of the law, including your kids, because you've registered your kids' names to the government. They own your ship. They own your ship, folks. It's the copyright ownership. Whatever it was, yeah. The copyright own your ship. We're an aren't we? We have verbs with the on the end, like to drive is the action, and then is the human aspect of it, isn't it? To err. Well, is that why we're always an We're errors, we're sinners, we're an Is that what's going on when we sign as signatories to things? The nature of our sign, folks. Sign yourself over. Sell your soul. Sign it over. It's sin. It's a silent G, isn't it, normally? Well, it is. Oh, the G's silent. It's a sin, folks, they tell you. Creating a natural sin by getting away from the world of the living, of truth, of honesty, of honour, of insight, knowing, love, empathy, communication, compassion, All stuff that's natural. That's the natural man, folks. And woman, of course, it means woman. Women are higher, actually, in fact, because we all come from a woman. So which come first there, guys? The chicken or the egg? You see how that works? That's how that works. So we need to stand up and start presenting ourselves. Are you presentable? Are you able to be presented, folks? Have you got a bit of honour? You know, truth rings true, doesn't it? And that's a sound. It sounds good. See how I did that? Sound. When you're here, you're here. Sounds, truth is sound. It's honesty, it rings true. It rings true. Like there's lots of the stuff here that some of you might think, oh, that's a lot of shit. No, well, I don't quite get that. But that's okay. You know, this is like a smorgasbord. It's actually a whiteboard, but it's like a smorgasbord of all sorts of different things. And you can take from it what you want and take your fill your little food for thought brains up. Take what you can. Cast the rest. You can cast the rest aside if you want to. If it doesn't fit inside your framework at the moment, your filters, your life experience, if it's not quite ringing true with you at the moment, that's fine. Good as gold, you know? Good as gold. Because, hey, you. Because if you don't mind, it won't matter. Hey. And if it doesn't matter, then you won't mind, will you? That's mind control. See how that works? That's your mind control. Where thought goes, energy flows. Where thought goes, energy flows. I haven't got onto that one either, actually, have I? I didn't elaborate on this one. There's a couple of things on here I haven't quite finished expanding upon. I was going to get another whiteboard, actually. I've got another whiteboard because I need to expand out over that way there a little bit, and then there's probably a bit more is going to go out that way as well. So I might have to paint my wall. Actually, I hope that's going to work. But anyway, be as kings. Start asking questions. Then you can be God, the gift of divinity. You can be very knowledgeable in the now. You can be extremely knowledgeable in the now with your gift of divinity. See that word? Just gift of divinity. You've got that divine spark of organic gnosis. You've got divine organic gnosis there, folks. See, gnosis again is information. Information is power. You're information and you're united. Sometimes information incites, and mostly it will give us insight. In the end, this is the end. Right, I think that's just about me, actually. Otherwise, I'm probably just going to start regurgitating a lot of stuff I've already said. Has anyone got any questions or anything there? No, everyone's got time. They're all still watching. You all got good watchers. You guys got good watchers. Well, I just want to try and end up on something. There's one I just want to leave you on, folks, because it's really important. It's really, really important that we start figuring out what's valuable to us. We start figuring out what we're going to do about it, because we need to do something about it. We need to do something about it because there's a state of terrorism going on, folks. Has been for a while, actually, and they've told us. They've told us all about the terrorism and the definition of the word terrorism. Sometimes you've got to go back into older dictionaries to get the etymology, if you like, the origins of it. So terrorism is a system of government by terror and intimidation. One who rules by intimidation is a terrorist. To terrorize, to impress with terror, to repress or domineer over by means of terror. So that's what's going on. They're telling you. Again, they're telling you exactly what's going on because they have to. They have to tell you what's going on because it confers your consent. And it's simple as that. That's how it is. I was trying to find one more thing there for you. Now, I might leave that with you, though. Thanks for joining us again today. I think I've gone for about an hour. I try to go for about an hour each day. So go to my YouTube channel. Not the norm. If you just search under Pissed Off Kiwi, you'll find me. You'll find me. Not the norm. YouTube channel. It was funny actually the other day when I put this, I just hung it over the computer there so you couldn't see my ugly mug being reflected, but I was sort of trying to hide this up, but look, it says re-seen. It's actually re-seen, but it's re-seen. Look at that. The only limit is your imagination, man. We've got the opportunity now to people to create an absolutely beautiful world. We can start getting some of the true medicines and true technology and you know, all the stuff that's been withheld from us. The real information will give us real power. You know, we need to get away from being deceived. You know, a lot of us don't have to say it. It started off with these things Friday. We don't even know where the days of our week come from. Here's a bit of sign language for you. You might be able to figure that one out. I'll leave that one with you. This is what the state of the place is in. Stockholm Syndrome people. We need to shake all you little lights out there. You need to get out there and tell all your mates and tell 10 mates and all the rest of it. Get your asses out there. Tomorrow's the day. We can make a big change. That's how it works. Voluntary association, folks. They can't stop it. You exercising your freedom of right. Your inalienable rights. Let's get out there and exercise them. Hey, thanks for joining us. Peace and love, brothers and sisters. Go out there and be loud, because you're allowed. You're a loud lot. Be revolting. Go and be revolting and be loud. Love and light.